The movie begins with the showing of private special forces from China who get an important mission to evacuate citizens at a company-owned oil refinery located in Iraq because previously the refinery received a surprise attack from mercenaries who are still unknown why they carried out the attack. When he arrived at the oil refinery, the leader of the troops named Jackie was welcomed by the head of the oil company named Professor Cheng, and he would lead Jackie to the citizens they would evacuate. While elsewhere in a village not far from the location of the oil refinery, we are shown a mercenary named John being approached by his brother named Henry, who is also a mercenary. Henry gives John the money from their collaboration after selling weapons to the Iraq army. He then asks John to participate in a mission where he and his men get a task to kidnap several people who have sold illegal weapons, but John refuses because he wants to take care of the orphans in this village. Even so, Henry still reminds that the mission reward this time is very large, so John can use the reward to help the residents in this village. Not only that, Henry also revealed that John has changed and started to stay away from his work after the death of their father 2 years ago. After Henry and his troops left, John was visited by his friend Owen, whose arrival Owen came to the place to repair the well pump, which is the only source of water in this village. But unfortunately, when repairing the well pump, Owen found that the pump was damaged, so John had to buy some equipment that was very expensive. In the evening, John was approached by a woman named Soraya, who was also confused about getting that much money, and because John was afraid that Soraya and the surrounding residents would be threatened with losing the water source, John planned to accept the mission offer from Henry. The next day at the oil refinery, Jackie and his troops began transporting the residents using 11 buses, and in the evacuation, Jackie met his daughter named May, who turned out to work at the refinery as a researcher. On the way, May expressed her disappointment with her father, who was more concerned with his work than her mother and daughter. But even so, Jackie actually really loved May, but because of the country's duties, so he inevitably had to carry out his duties. On the way, they passed through a deadly road that was previously the site of a civil war, and Jackie was forced to decide to pass through the road because it was the only road to evacuate the residents. Briefly after passing through the deadly route, they were surprised by the appearance of a sandstorm, even though the weather report previously informed that today there would be no sandstorm. And while passing through the storm, suddenly radio communication lost signal, which was then followed by the appearance of several off-road cars. It turns out that they are John, Henry, and the mercenaries who will kidnap several people from the bus, and it appears that John and the soldiers then sabotage bus numbers 8 and 11. They also had a fight with members of the army from Jackie, but managed to defeat him, including a female member who fortunately survived. John and his troops then took the 2 buses away, while Jackie and the other members still didn't know that the 2 buses had been hijacked. After getting out of the sandstorm, Jack then realized that the 2 buses were missing and realized that the sandstorm was not natural. Jackie then decided to look for the buses that had disappeared using a helicopter, but when he was about to leave, May asked to come with him until finally Jackie allowed it. They then accidentally found the source of the sandstorm, which turned out to be made using a jet engine. Meanwhile, John and Henry move the 4 captives into their car, and here John realizes that the mission this time is very odd because the people they captured don't look like arms dealers but ordinary citizens. In short, when they take the captives across the desert valley, they are found by one of Jack's members named Sanway. Sanway immediately shoots at John's group and manages to blow up one vehicle. But John, who is smarter, immediately stops his vehicle and shoots Sanway continuously, so that the helicopter in which Sanway is riding loses control and falls into the mountains. Meanwhile, Jackie and May accidentally found an abandoned bus number 11, and in the bus Jack found several passengers, but 4 of them had disappeared kidnapped. Knowing that, Jack immediately searched the surrounding area. In another place, Henry and his troops took John to his headquarters to face the person who had hired them. But when he got there, John was surprised because the person who hired his services was his own friend named Owen. Owen told John that he had been buying and selling weapons without John's knowledge. But what made John confused was why Owen was holding people hostage from the oil refinery, which of course they had nothing to do with the arms trade. Owen also revealed the reason because he wanted to sabotage the oil refinery and sell it to illegal buyers. And one of the hostages they took was Professor Cheng, who was the key to distributing oil to the buyer's ship. Knowing that, John immediately canceled his mission and he immediately invited Henry to go, but Henry refused because he had not been paid by Owen. After John left, Owen suddenly shot Henry dead, and how many of his men? While two of Henry's men named Knox and Morgan immediately sided with Owen because it turned out that they were Owen's men from the beginning. When John was traveling back to the village, he was spotted by Jackie, who was suspicious of him, and Jackie decided to follow him to the village. Once in the village, Jackie met John to inform him that his people had disappeared in the desert, but John did not want to answer, but instead went to his secret headquarters to collect money, and he was followed by Jackie. There, John was shocked when he saw Henry's body lying inside his headquarters, and at that moment, Jackie, who came, was immediately accused of being the perpetrator by John, which then led to a fierce duel between them. John, who has a bigger body, easily throws Jackie here and there, but even so, Jackie has the agility that makes their fight look balanced. John then asked why Jackie killed his brother, but Jackie said that he didn't kill anyone. The fight between the two was then stopped by the arrival of civilian military who wanted to buy weapons from Henry, but they immediately left when John and Jackie accidentally released the grenade trigger. The military then fired on John's base, which forced John and Jackie to work together to fight them.
What? Take a look.
After the military left Jack, and John made a deal to find the person who had killed Henry and kidnapped Jack's men. Meanwhile, on the other hand, Owen and his troops took Professor Cheng to the oil refinery, where there Owen asked Cheng to provide access codes so that Owen could channel his oil to the dock, and Owen forced Cheng by killing captives one by one. Initially, Cheng still did not want to give the access code, but when Owen was about to kill the last prisoner, who was the son of Cheng, Cheng immediately agreed to give the access code, but unfortunately, the code was in a bag that was now carried by Mei. Cheng's son, named Ming, then advised Owen to track Mei's phone number so that Owen could send his men to retrieve the bag. Meanwhile, John takes Jackie and Mei to his village, where John shows how he entertains the orphans to make them happy. After entertaining the children, John and Jack sit outside, and there John says that Mei is the greatest woman he has ever seen. But John is immediately silenced after learning that Mei is the daughter of Jackie. Soon they hear the barking of a dog, which indicates that their village is being infiltrated by someone, and sure enough, when John and Jackie check it out, they find a group of Owen's men sneaking around, and in the end, John and Jackie begin to capture Owen's men one by one. John and Jackie then split up, and when John climbed a tower, he was shot by Owen's men, but fortunately, John managed to dodge before the tower collapsed. The two were then surrounded by Knox and his troops, but at that moment the villagers began to arrive to help John. Even so, Knox still did not give up and instead challenged them to war. Rather than many casualties in the village, John gave Mei's bag to Knox and let them go. The next day, Mei told John that the bag contained a USB that had an access code to open the flow of the oil refinery, where the oil in the company reached millions of barrels. Knowing that Owen would seize all the oil in the company, John and Jackie decided to go there to stop Owen. The two then left using a jet engine truck, while Mei, who did not like being left behind, decided to follow them in John's car secretly. While elsewhere, Owen has arrived a tanker that will hold all the oil belonging to the oil company. Owen then began to tell Cheng to open the flow, but unfortunately, Owen had to take 24 hours to hold all the oil in the refinery. Soon John and Jackie came by, breaking through the defenses set up by Owen. The two then proceeded to beat up Owen's men, and while the two were fighting, Owen decided to leave the refinery and asked Knox to keep Cheng in custody until all the oil was drained. John and Jackie then entered the control room, where the two faced off against Knox, who was an expert in martial arts. In the fight, Jackie asked John to chase Owen while he would duel against Knox, but unfortunately, John was too late because Owen managed to escape while carrying 3 oil trucks. Fortunately, shortly thereafter came Mei while carrying John's favorite car. And because the situation was chaotic, John also asked Mei to chase Owen with the favorite car. While John and Mei were chasing Owen, Jackie was still fighting against Knox, which in the fight, Jackie used soap spray to knock Knox down, but unfortunately the spray was out of control and caused the room they were in to be filled with soap bubbles. The two then continued to duel, and Jackie, who had martial arts skills, finally managed to defeat Knox. On the other hand, John and May, who were still chasing Owen, had an accident because the car they were in was not suitable for this kind of up and down travel terrain. Fortunately, before they lost Owen, Jackie came with a truck. The three of them then chased Owen with the truck. But because they were far behind, John activated the jet engine on the truck, which made them able to quickly catch up with Owen's car. Jackie then crashed his truck into an oil tank and caused Owen's three trucks to overturn and then explode. In the explosion, Owen's men named Morgan died while Owen suffered burns on his face. Owen then drove away in his car, and this forced John, Jackie, and May to reactivate the jet engine on his truck. Jackie then crashed into Owen's car and dragged it into the ravine, and before the truck they were in went into the ravine, Jackie managed to tie May's seat so that both of them managed to survive, while Owen, who was still on the cliff, accidentally slipped and fell into the ravine until he finally died. After the incident, Jackie and May thought that John was carried away by the truck, but soon John suddenly emerged from under the cliff in good health. The two then shouted for help until someone came to help. At the end of the movie, John and Jackie and their troops repaired the well pump and succeeded in making the pump work again so that the villagers and children could enjoy clean water sources again. At that moment, Jackie's members came and said that they had a new mission. Jackie also invited John to join, which John accepted, and the movie ended.